it's not about time. You are in motion about something else. And you have this expectation in your mind that you can have several things moving forward simultaneously in your body. And that's not true. Be all in on the thing that you're in. Because in that regard, you're not procrastinating on that thing. What you're really talking about is you have ambition for another thing to be happening, and you're irritated that the thing in front of you is the priority. The question to ask is, where are the contexts, the states where you're really kind of miserable? And it probably is a state where you're actually trying to be in more places than once. It is a skill to be awake enough to know what state am I in that I don't like, and am I willing to just pick the thing you don't want to do and do that. The thing you're resisting is the path. It is the way. All you have to ask yourself is, what is the thing I don't want to do that's really irritating that I know I'll be better for if I do? Well, that's what you prioritize. As humans, we prefer the path of least resistance. We crave convenience, the payoff without the price. But when our lives revolve around comfort, it doesn't deliver. Living in perpetual comfort leaves us weak and asleep. This podcast is an invitation to flip that script, to choose the unlikely path, to get the life you really want through voluntary discomfort. This is Strong and Awake. I'm Dane Sanders.
Sometimes I really don't want to do something that I know is productive, or I don't want to stop doing something that I know is unproductive. And it feels like I have to have the most crazy willpower on planet Earth to move my body to do that thing. And it's actually really interesting because I have a almost 2-year-old daughter who does not like to eat. So like tonight we made her some mac and cheese and she didn't want it. And then randomly in her fit of throwing the fork, there was one tiny piece of macaroni that was stuck to the fork. And she saw it and she's like, oh. And then she ate it. And then she was like, more mac and cheese, more mac and cheese. And then she ate basically a good chunk of the mac and cheese. And it was so funny. That one little tiny piece of mac and cheese was like all she needed to like get into the mood of actually eating and actually having like a proper dinner. And I feel like it's the same, especially on the days where I'm feeling kind of blah with my practices. I just need to tell myself, hey, just 1 minute of this. Like just do it for 1 minute, because I find that once I start actually doing my practice, I love it. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is really energy giving. It's not making me feel worse. It's making me feel better. But for some reason, it is so hard to remember that. And all it takes is just 1 minute.
Dane, I've been telling myself a story for my entire life. And this story has played out in many different scenarios. And that is, I don't have enough time. I don't want to do that. I'm always going to be a procrastinator. You talk to my wife, you talk to my mom, you talk to anyone in my life, and they'll tell you, yeah, Mitch is that guy that stays up all night before a test and like pulls it off. But I've realized in this last year or two, actually, as a part of MWOD, that there's so much more than just like these hacks and short-term motivations and things that I've tried in the past that have actually kind of like moved the needle and shifted that identity in me. And, you know, obviously I'm still on that journey, but I'd love to invite kind of our listeners into this conversation because you've been so instrumental in helping shift that perspective and go higher upstream and get to some of the roots of those things. And like Avery at the top of the episode, I've also had these small insights in realizing, oh, so much of procrastination is about just uncomplicating things and taking a simple action. Yeah. Oh man, it is so in your head. Like most things in life, it's a mind game. And one of the ways out of that is to not do more mental gymnastics, but to actually get embodied in things and take a simple step forward. So, not to spoil our whole episode, but I just wanted to set that stage because I think there's hope. There's hope for people that have been chronic procrastinators, for people that think, no, I've listened to 1,000 of these episodes. I've done all the courses, I've done the calendar blocking, I've done the things, which are all like good, but if you're not going higher upstream, higher order, then you're going to be left falling back into this trap. So with all that preamble, I'd love to get into kind of like the big question and the kind of like source of a lot of what's going on here. And that's like, where are we putting our attention? Because that's really what procrastination's about.
You know, this isn't in our notes, which is classic Sanders over here. But I do want to make a quick observation based off of the way you frame this. I want to invite listeners, myself included, to remember that we live an embodied life. So we are in physical bodies that have some, it's not up for debate that humans' bodies are built to survive, to react to concerns for danger, to flight or fight or freeze, or whatever your kind of personality bias is in the face of difficulty, or not just difficulty, of threat, like the perception of threat. So let's remember that kind of plot point A. That's true. We all live in bodies that are looking to get out of trouble. In the midst of that, we have at the end of our brainstem, we have an amygdala, I think it's called. Is it amygdala or
amygdala?
Amygdala, sure. And that's competing with our frontal cortex, right? So our feelings are fighting with our thinking in this moment, in this physical body. There's a reason for all of this. So we have these flight or fight responses, and we have feelings that are related to that are regulating, gosh, what should we do relative to the perceived threat that we have in front of us. And we have this potential overrider, this frontal cortex that can offer executive functioning, that can override those things and go, wait, this actually isn't a threat, even though it seems like a threat. Or the frontal cortex can be enrolled through the feelings in a justifier. Let's come up with a clever story why that's a threat. I'm going to convince myself it's a threat so that my body can still do the thing it wants to do. It wants to drift, or it wants to kind of run away, or it wants to, whatever. And I think the reason that's helpful, at least for me, is it's helpful to recognize I am almost, my job as a human, if I want to have executive functioning, is to calibrate all of the pieces of my embodied life, of my feelings, of my thoughts, in the direction of the person I say I want to become. So if I'm actually under threat, I want to react appropriately. But if I'm actually not, then I want to relate with it like the way my highest order self would. And that means overriding those feelings. And when I perceive a discomfort of the thing that I've been putting off for so long, the thing I'm scared of, the thing that I'm not sure I have what it takes to accomplish or to do, if all those things are interpreted as threats in my physical body, of course, I'm going to try to enroll my mind and to go, let's just get lost in all the experiences, all the reps you've had where you failed, where your best path out was to cram the night before a test, or your best way forward is to just put that thing off indefinitely and hopefully it won't come up again. That whatever example you have for what procrastination looks like, that so many of us can relate to, that if you're not the kind of person that at the beginning of a semester, you get your syllabus of all the things that you're responsible for and you just methodically walk them out, which involves zero stress, but instead let it all drift until the last week of work and then just get disproportionately undone trying to get everything accomplished. When we do that habitually in our bodies over and over and over again, then any challenge is perceived as a threat. And what we want to say, there's some good news. It's not a threat. It's actually the doorway to freedom. That when we decide to get the frontal cortex as the driver and go, wait, am I under threat? No. Okay, so this is actually the gold mine. I'm going to walk toward the uncomfortable thing. Well, now what you're doing is it's opening up this chance to tell the feelings what to do. We've talked about this on several occasions, but to lead ourselves, to lead our bodies, to lead our feelings, to lead our thinking in the direction of who we say we want to become through the doorway of discomfort. And in all cases, even just going like, and this is going to be some of our punchline, like you don't actually have to get all the way through the door. In many cases, all we actually need to do is the one first step, the right next thing. And that's it. And now you're off to the races. Does any of that resonate?
Oh, 100%. And I think that a lot of my misunderstanding of this embodied nature and even the idea of presence has informed my procrastination. It's like, no, to be fully present means to pursue that feeling that I have right now, or do the thing that feels fun or exciting or brings me joy in this moment. Which really what we're calling for is not just like presence, like a generic presence. Like it's a very specific and intentional kind of presence that I think many people think they have, myself included. But like without any kind of like practice in this or context that you're bringing into this, your idea of presence could very much be the thing that's derailing you. So what I'm curious, like what are some of those like excuses or those lies or the things that we tell ourselves in these moments when we start to meet this kind of resistance that like is often the start of procrastination?
Yeah, in almost all cases for me, it's fear. I'm just scared of something. And again, tying it back to the flight or fight response to things, like I perceive whatever's in front of me as a threat to my reputation, to my well-being, to my status, that there's something that if I walk toward it, I'm in trouble. I'm going to fail. I'm scared of failing. Or I'm going to walk toward it. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to get overwhelmed by the success. I want nothing to do with that. Or I'll succeed and it'll be done. What'll I have to do after that? Or like fill in the blank. But all the kind of the overarching piece of it is I'm flooded by a feeling. It's usually fear, and the fear is now driving the ship. And it's interesting. Like even as we're talking, there's a particular context in my life where this 100% of the time gets removed. And that's the beginning of a CrossFit workout. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with a CrossFit workout, what usually happens is you show up in the gym and you have a great trainer who's walking you through a series of steps to get warm for that workout of the day. Usually the workout of the day is not very long. It could be like 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the nature of it. It's always a surprise. You don't know what's coming, but it's the workout that everyone's doing. And the way the workout begins is that the coach just says, okay, 3, 2, 1, go. He's already explained it, or she's already explained it. You've already been warmed up. Your body's tuned. You're all set. But it's not a lot of ambiguity. It's 3, 2, 1, go. And the timer starts. And ready or not, and you are ready because the coach got you into that state, here we go. And what I'm struck by in every single CrossFit workout I've ever been in is I get moving. Like there's no procrastination to procrastinate about. I'm on the clock. And the reality is all of us every day are on the clock. Like I've heard folks like, I don't know if it was Mel Robbins or someone talk about this of like, you wake up, start counting down 3, 2, 1, your feet need to be on the floor. And guess what?
She's a 5-second rule, right?
Right.
That's like her thing.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Like you're off to the races. And that's available to all of us all the time. Like procrastinate. Oh, you're procrastinating? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not anymore. But just notice how much you want to slow down the countdown. No, wait, I'm not ready. Oh, da. All of those are statements of fear. All of them. And a lack of clarity that you're actually on the clock. You think you have more time. You don't. You don't. And the moment you decide that, procrastination evaporates. It doesn't exist. This is why like guys like Seth Godin talk about there is no such thing as writer's block. And he knows that because writing is thinking on paper, and we never have thinking block. We always, all that's required is pull the page up, hands on the keyboard, 3, 2, 1, and there you go. And that's always the case. And even the blank cursor that, so many tropes have shown, like write the word blank cursor, right? Start writing colors, start writing 3.14, whatever, pi, like I'm really bored. It's cold in here. I'm wearing a brown hat with a buffalo on it. Like in a minute, now, at least you're in motion now. And as you get in motion, again, it's you don't overcome procrastination. It's actually not a thing. It's a mirage. It's a story you've made up about the world that you're in right now. And the moment you get into motion, it dissipates.
Before we even get to that moment when we're sitting in front of the blank page or the blinking cursor on the screen,
yeah,
we're also telling ourselves all kinds of stories that I think often like prevents us from even coming to that moment of like,
yes,
I don't have time, or like you said, all of these stories of fear, I'm going to fail, or what are they going to think about me, or I'm going to be found out as a fraud, or whatever. Is the proactive action still in that moment just to do it? I'm thinking specifically about the like, I don't have time. Like, because I think a lot of people say, yeah, that's great if you have time to sit down in front of a page and start writing. But like, I don't have time. I've got kids to drop off. That, I'm dealing with this, ailing parent or what have you. The people that are listening to this right now, like, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I think I would say, I have a lot to say, actually. I think it's probably helpful to acknowledge it's not about time. It's about you are in motion about something else. And you have this expectation in your mind that you can have several things moving forward simultaneously in your body. And that's not true. And it would probably be better to be settled with, okay, so I don't have time, ban that phrase, and instead say, at this moment, what I have time for is to change my kid's diaper. At this moment, what I have time for is to answer this call from this person I don't want to answer the call from. At this time, I have an opportunity to walk into another Zoom meeting, even though I'm so itchy. I've been in the seat too many days in a row. Whatever the thing is, and be all in on the thing that you're in. Because in that regard, you're not procrastinating on that thing. What you're really talking about is you have ambition for another thing to be happening, and you're irritated that the thing in front of you is the priority. Now, let's say there's some negotiating available. Like, this is really tough when you have a sick kid in front of you. I get that. But let's say it's like, I'm actually choosing the easier path right now. Like, the thing that I'm in, I don't actually have to be in. Is there room to make a request? And even with that kid, do you have a partner who you could ask for? Do you have a neighbor who you could ask to? Is there a creative opportunity to put that kid into a position where you're doing the thing that you actually want to attend to? Or is that thing you want to attend to, is it actually as important as you say it is? Have you made a story up about that thing? And the place you ought to be is what you're really resisting is being fully in on the thing in front of you. Maybe that's the discomfort that you could walk toward. That would be more valuable. I know for me, that's the case often, is what I fixate on is a sense of perfection. Like, I want to be both a great husband, a great dad, a great neighbor, a great member of my community, a thought leader, a fantastic guy at my job, all at the same time. And I don't think that's this. It's kind of a veiled, kind of mythical, perfect balance where everything at all times is at kind of ideal levels. And it's a lack of recognition of the trade-offs in life that's not how it works. What would be more resourceful is to go, where am I going to be fully present and wholehearted with? And then negotiate the rest, make the request, acknowledge the fail, renegotiate a path forward where you can be more present to what's in front of you. And in that regard, when you settle into that, in my experience, it's a more humbling life. Like, it's pretty humbling to realize how little we can actually do in a day. It betrays this grandiose view of who I think I am supposed to be to the world. But it's so much more satisfying because the other way robs me. So I'm with my kid all day, but I resent it because I didn't get to my blank page. Well, I think you have some screwed up priorities here. You've lost in both places because you decided to not be fully present in any of them. And that's the robbery.
And I think honesty is a really important factor in this, because if you just say, okay, being with my kid is in this category all of the time, or working hard and focusing on work is in this category all the time, I find myself using those as excuses all the time to take the easy path. Like, oh no, my kid's sick. Okay, I can't work out, or I can't do this. And you're like, sweet, whew. You have some, legitimate excuse for this. But like, I think if I'm being honest with myself in those moments, like sometimes, yes, that is the case. Other times I'm just using this as like an excuse to avoid
100%. I'm an accomplice.
Discomfort, pain. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like being that accomplice, being that sneaky little rescuer that swoops in, and is really just a villain. And
this isn't just activities; it's also relational. Mm-hmm. Like my wife and I got in an argument last night, and went to bed grumpy. And I woke up and I was like, I could spend the rest of my day in this state. Or in 10 seconds, I can solve this. How do I solve it? I go very uncomfortably to a place of asking for forgiveness, authentically. Like, and that's just, but that feels like threatening. Like, what does that mean about who I am? And it's like, here's what I know. If I don't like the state I'm in, it can be interrupted the moment I walk towards the uncomfortable thing. Almost every single time. And I think that's, as folks are listening, I think that's the question to ask is, where are the contexts, the states where you're really kind of miserable? And it probably is a state where you're actually trying to be in more places than once. You're trying to be right, like in the relational element, and connected. Well, why not prioritize connected? Go all in on connected and don't worry about being right. And guess what? You won't care about being right because you'll be connected. Or if it's not in the relational category, it's these competing interests. Like I have this project and this project and this project, and I have my kid in front of me who's crying. Well, guess what? I send a quick text. Those 3 projects are set aside. I'm locked in on here. And maybe when the kid's where they need to be, I can go, I think actually I can get out of this place right now. I can make a request to my partner. I can put the kid in this context, and I'm going, and now I'm on the clock, 3, 2, 1, and I'm moving towards the next thing. But it is a skill to be awake enough to know what state am I in that I don't like, and am I willing to, as a default mechanism, just pick the thing you don't want to do and do that. The thing you're resisting is the path. It is the way. It is, Ryan Holiday's right. The obstacle is the way. And it's such an easy thing to go to because all you have to ask yourself is, what is the thing I don't want to do that's really irritating that I know I'll be better for if I do? Well, that's what you prioritize, including how you view yourself, the story you tell yourself about how amazing you are. You can set that aside too. It's not resourceful. What's more resourceful is being present. And what you'll discover is over time, your reputation will shift. You will see yourself differently, even as other people see you differently. But it doesn't happen instantly. It's entirely related to reps, and there's no shortage. Like we're never going to get to a place where, oh, I'm done. I got it. This is complete. It's more like, no, every single 24-hour window, you're going to open up to a series of opportunities for you to not be true to who you are. And you're going to be tempted to procrastinate because you feel insecure about it in ways that will not serve who you say you want to become. Well, here's the path. And you and I, we see this every single day in our community, individuals like Avery, who they get a little grant. In fact, let's go back to his example. I think like with his kid, so discouraged. I'm a bad dad. I'm not getting this done right. The kid will not eat. And the kid is teaching Avery, actually, Dad, all I needed was one piece of macaroni in my mouth and I will take care of it myself. 3, 2, 1, one piece of macaroni. And it's not about the meal. It's not about getting it all done. It's not about perfect. What it's about is getting in motion. And when you get in motion, it opens up, especially in motion in the direction of what you resist.
So what are some of the things we talk so much about a practice, and more specifically kind of this daily practice of things that you can begin to do to put yourself into motion and to kind of honor your commitments and like rightly order your kind of priorities. What are some of those kind of things that can get us into this motion? Not just, I know we've touched a little bit on like just identifying like what's that hard thing that I'm resisting and just making taking the first step.
Yeah, it's kind of more on the spot. Yeah, right.
Yeah. But like, what are some other things that we can kind of build into our rhythms and routines, and even beyond then, like just our operating system, to kind of cultivate that?
Yeah, I think if I was at home listening to this and this was a new idea to me and I wanted to build a practice from scratch, I think I would probably borrow the underpinnings of in our community, we have this ambition to become strong and awake for love's sake. And that those three things are laid out with great intention because they tend to be really resourceful. And the first two in isolation, in service to the third thing. So the first thing I would say is every single day, every 24-hour windows, do something that makes you feel strong. Just pick something that strengthens you in mind, strengthens you in body, strengthens you in confidence. Like do something that you're getting better at something every single day, and you know it. You have proof. Like I did that thing, and if I do that thing enough times in a row, I'm going to get better at it. I feel stronger. I think a strengthening, and this is why, like whether it's working out, and MWOD is famous because so many people get into it and they get in really ridiculous shape. That's a byproduct. The real thing is they do something that makes them feel strong every day because they're actually getting stronger. So some strong inducing things, strong and awake. Second thing is build in something that wakes you up every single day. That isn't chemical. Like it's not just your coffee. It's not just something like it. For us, it's things like holding your breath or getting in cold water or doing the hard thing first on your list, or whatever can serve you. Like it jars you. And even what we talked about today, put a counter in your life. 3, 2, 1, get after the thing. It'll wake you up. And I think the combination of strength and awareness, and then this is the magic. This is my favorite. Don't make it about you. Don't make it about you. Get strong and awake, not for your sake, but for something beyond you. Could be your neighbor, could be your partner, could be for your kid, could be for your enemy, the person that has written you off. It could be even gentleness to yourself, for love's sake, around like acknowledging the goodness in you that's there, even if you've made horrible choices, that there's something like designed in you that it needs some reminders, to be gentle, to be kind in the same way you be kind to a buddy, to be kind to yourself in that process. Maybe that's part of the for love's sake. But I think whatever minimally viable, low bar piece of macaroni you can get in action with around getting stronger every day, waking up every day, and doing it for something that's bigger than you, that's around love. I think that's a pretty fantastic recipe for anyone. The only qualifier I want to say is sometimes people get to extraordinary levels of strength and extraordinary levels of awareness and extraordinary levels of love, and it's like a trophy on their shelf. That actually was true like a long time ago. This is actually something we get to do every single 24-hour window, or it will drift away, or some storm will come and take it out. And it usually is something that's strengthening and awareness for love's sake that comes at a sacrifice. It feels uncomfortable to do it. And if you can do an uncomfortable thing in those three categories every 24-hour window, that is a recipe for flourishing.
That was a great articulation of that. Sorry, I just needed to shout that out.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. You and I have been friends for years now, and we get to kind of carry out our own personal practices in community every day. And even though I hear it every day and do these things every day, it's such a helpful reminder to hear it articulated, that and going back up to the why we're doing these things. I'm journaling every day. So I can be more aware and awake, for others too, and for myself. Totally. So I can identify who's in the driver's seat or where I was showing up and relating differently. So there these things that are very embodied, like you said, like don't have to be complicated. Like you don't need the perfect system, the perfect schedule, the perfect app. Really, the killer app could just be as simple as, like you said, 3, 2, 1. Like, what's the next hard action that I can just move toward?
Yes.
And I think,
and even hard, like just a little harder than you want. Like like one push-up. Don't do a workout. Do one push-up. Don't go running. Put your, as James Clear talks about, just put your shoes on.
Yep.
Walk outside, walk back in.
Yeah. Floss one tooth. Yeah.
If you never miss a day in a strengthening, awakening, loving set of actions, those things aren't competing with your to-do freaking list. You've actually created a to-be list. You're going to become through your practice. And then all of a sudden the to-dos, like, they're actually going to happen more often because you have greater strength. They're going to happen more often because you're awake to the thing that's most important. They're going to happen more often because the things that are connected to actually making the world better, where you're so gratified and satisfied with like your contribution to making the world. You've made a contribution to something that's not just about you. That is living. And that's what we want. And also you become your character improves, you become a more virtuous person, more projects actually get done in the long term, the right projects. But more importantly, you're the real person, you're the real article. And I think that's what people are mostly craving.
Well, we've got so many, we've touched on so many different things that we can go into much more depth about. And we will in this series. We're going to be talking about motivation and decision fatigue and perfectionism and navigating change and those dynamics and time mastery. So we'll have a chance to dig into all these. So make sure you're subscribed and following so you can get updated on those episodes. And also I want to invite you. I mentioned, just in this last conversation about the community that we get to participate in every day, where not only are we doing these things, in a silo or isolated, we get to participate in community. We get to hold account. We get to put ourselves on the hook. And the best way to learn more about that, to get involved, and even maybe to take that first step towards thinking through these things and how you're relating with your life, is to just go to MWOD.io/apply, fill out the application. It's not a commitment to join and to jump into all the crazy things that we get to do. But
wait, Mitch, wait.
But wait, there's more.
I don't know. I have so much going on in my life. I don't have time.
Yeah.
Gosh, don't you know all the projects and things that I have to go do right now, and my kids screaming and what? MWOD.io/apply. That just sounds like a lot of stuff, and it's probably a lot of complicated questions. And who has time for that? What do you suggest?
Yeah. Here's my suggestion. Go into the description box, open up that link in another tab, and then 3, 2, 1.
Men and Women of Discomfort is our membership community, and we are open to everyone. But keep in mind, our tagline is, "It's probably not for you." If we're wrong about that, or if you want to find out for yourself, you can find us at MWOD.io.